Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a whole bunch of Sheetload tips, and we have a special guest this month. It is Tracy from Not Afraid of Color. She is one of my crafty friends. She's like a sister from another mister to me. Here on YouTube and Instagram. Here is a look at her channel and some of the content and videos. She has over 500 videos. There's lots of card making. She even does a little bit of junk journaling. She's very mixed media, and I just love her. She does lives and edited, and she's on a bunch of teams. You should definitely go check her out. Check out our entire team. This is a collab that happens every month. And here is the May sheetload of cards. I am going to be using some Unity Stamp Winnie the Pooh stamps today and just giving you a few of my little tips when I'm planning out my sheetload. I'm making 5x7 cards, but I'm not changing any dimensions. If you didn't know, the card on the front of the Sheetload printout, if you print it at 100%, is the size of an A2 card. And it is great if you're trying to decide like what stamp set you might want to use. You can actually lay your stamps there and get an idea maybe about the orientation or, how big you want to make things. It's just really helpful to have the true scale of the card, the finished card there on the front, because it really helps with brainstorming design. And I wanted to share that with you guys. I have a few tips in this video. I'm using the Unity Stamp Co. Winnie the Pooh, and I can't decide which one. And then I end up picking the one where they're just kind of all huddled together in a hug. And with this one, this is the only one that I chose a die for. And so I'm going to hold that die up over this and just see. And I think that works out really well. And when you're picking something, if you're going to stamp and color it and you're making a full sheetload of cards, always think about, do I want to color this 8 times, 12 times, however many cards the Sheetload makes. In this case, this month, it makes 8 cards. I wanted a really soft palette, like, a storybook, like an old storybook of Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. I thought this paper pad was definitely giving that. And always look for special instructions. Like this month, Call Me Crafty Owl, Alicia, will leave special instructions on the sheetload of cards. I'm using my Canson XL watercolor paper today, and that is what I'm going to use to stamp out all 8 of my little cuddly images of Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and Eeyore. And I just want to dedicate this card to all the families who went through all of that horrific weather in the United States last weekend. I was making these cards on Saturday. I was watching Ryan Hall, y'all, and I saw some of my viewers' cities being called out, and I was praying for them. And I have family that lives in Sulphur, Oklahoma, and all over Oklahoma I have family. But I know it wasn't just Oklahoma and it wasn't just Texas, but it was Iowa and Kansas and so many other places. And so these cards are just a dedication to all of those families. I'm using a non-reactive water or ink so that I can do my watercolor. And I have a few tips on this as well, as far as like if you're going to mix your color, mix enough to color all of your images that you can, or just be okay that it won't be they won't all be exact. When you're working with watercolor, it's hard to get the exact same mixture every time. There's so many variables between picking up and transferring the watercolor to your palette and how much water is there. But in this case, today, for my subtle colors, I mixed a little bit of brown. You can tell my palette's really bright, but I mixed a little bit of brown into each color. So with my blue, the way I got that muted, like kind of denim blue, is that I used my bright blue and a little bit of brown. For Winnie, I used the same thing again. I used that really bright yellow. You can tell that the colors here are very vivid and bright, and I just mixed in a little bit of brown with each one to bring out the storybook color. So I wanted to share that with you for those who may just be getting comfortable with color mixing and watercolor and painting. This is just how I prefer to paint or color my stamped images, is with watercolor. You can get you can get any color that you want, whereas you don't have to have 300 different markers. You just need one palette of watercolor. It's definitely more affordable. And I don't know, it's fast, it's fun. You can get shading, you can get variation. It looks very artsy. There's just so many reasons why I love watercolor. I'm going to show you here for Piglet. I'm using the same red for his face and legs that I used for his body, but the secret or the tip is to leave it there you don't want it to completely dry like that, obviously, but you want to leave it there for just a minute or so that the color can soak into the paper. So I would color 1 or 2 faces. I would color, 2, maybe 3 little piglets. A lot of this is going to depend on if you're in a really arid space or a humid space. I'm in Texas, South Texas, so it's really humid. But the idea is to go back in with a dry, clean cloth and and just kind of soak up a little bit of that color. So you're getting the same kind of like tone and hue, but it's just a little lighter than his body. So I used the same color for his body as I did for that dark red on his belly, but I just lifted the color with a clean cloth. A paper towel will totally do for this. All right, and I'm going to paint in the grass, and then I'll add some dark shading to it. So this collab, there is a playlist. That is the best way to watch it. We've kind of abandoned the hashtag that wasn't really efficient, and we're doing the playlist. So all you have to do is look in the description box down below, and everything is there for you. The playlist, Tracy's channel, all of the collab teams links. Alicia has it figured out, y'all. How do you get your Sheetload? You have to go to Alicia's channel. You'll click the link down below. It'll take you over, and that's how you get the Sheetload. It's absolutely 100% free for everyone. So I kept my measurements exactly the same, but I am putting this on a 5x7 card base. So all I did that was different is I used a 5x7 card base. I used one of the small stamps that was in the stamp set, and I just randomly stamped that around the edges of the card. I didn't need to do the center because that's going to be covered. And I used the same color that I had used to stamp out Winnie and his friends. And so that is how I pulled off a 5x7 card using this month's dimensions. And, it just keeps things really simple, really easy, and it's a great way to use up those little stamps. I had some wooden butterflies that I thought would just be perfect for this pile up of hugs, and these are my cards. I added some embellishments in the corner of the card. I did ink blend around them, and I just had so much fun making this Sheetload. I hope you found a lot of inspiration here with me today. Again, hugs to everyone in the path of those severe storms. And I was thinking of you and praying for you. I still am. I hope you enjoyed the sheet load. Please go pick up your free sheet load and have some fun with it. Go check out Tracy. Use the hashtags at the top if you want to share on social media. We would all love to see what you make. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.